All right, here we go. Continuing on through materials related to exercise number 6, where we are going to create in lab 6, which is the next thing up on our list. We need to go ahead and create a certain something, which is this right here. So we need to create this 2D drawing for this part. And unlike our exercise number 6, we are not given the part to start off. So first things first, we need to go ahead and model that thing. So on page number 71 of your book, again, if you don't have the book or need the book or have lost your copy of the book, just head on over to Britannia1.com and go to the manuals, and you can go to Creo Parametric Basics, download that thing. You can also get to part files for some of these exercises when you need to get some things, and also to Chris Sikora's videos for each one of these exercises as well, where you have a second point of view on how to go through and get this thing done. His being the much more direct, quicker version of things, whereas mine's going to take a little bit longer because I want to walk you through stuff, especially for those that are a little bit newer to it. All right, so first things first, we need to go ahead and create a new part. So I'll go File, New Part, and I'm going to call it L6, in my case, Video. You do what works right for you. And we need to go ahead and draw out this part. So let's go ahead and turn our planes on. Let's get to this front side view. And the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to create an extrusion after we go ahead and sketch things. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to start with a sketch and then I'll go to that later. So I'm going to click my front plane and I'm going to hit my sketch. And let's look and see what we need to do here. All right, so we need to create this part. And as we look around here, it has this vent detail on the side that goes through to both sides. We have some filleted edges and some chamfers on there as well, it looks like. So we need to start off creating essentially this body, looking at it from the side. And we have all those dimensions that we need here to get that done. So we need to go ahead and sketch this thing out. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to look at my manual instead of bouncing back and forth. You do whatever works best for you. All right, so starting off, we're going to start off at the bottom and get things scaled with a line that starts at that origin. Center click twice, set that dimensional size to 2.5 so we get things scaled as we would like. And then I'm going to start working my way around. And I'm going to try and draw the thing as close as I can without running afoul of a bunch of snaps. So really what I want to do is get something that looks close. And then my dimensions, when I go in and constrain things, that's going to go ahead and help me get everything the way that I really want it to be. So we're just playing the game of close enough for now. So we have the form kind of right. But we're not snapping to everything else here. And closing that up. Okay. I'm going to turn off those coordinates, those planes, so I don't have to look at those for now. I'm going to move my sketch down. Now it's time to go ahead and get some dimensions in here. So let's get dimensions in here. Let's see what Creo gave us already. We put in that 2.5, and we have a bunch of weak dimensions that it added for us. So let's go ahead and get things shored up here a little bit. And hopefully we don't have too many nasty things here to cause problems. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get this angular dimension of 45 degrees in here by replacing this one. And then I'm going to go ahead and go from here to here. No. Already, see, it's like, we're going to just go ahead and screw with you today. So this line to this line, 216 degrees there. So we're going to have 180 plus 45 to get us that one right. So let's go ahead. 180 plus 45 is 225. All right, so we got that in there. We have a width there. We have a width between those two to add, which is 3 inches. So I go here, here, left click out here, set that to 3. And again, don't worry, things are going to get a little bit weird here as we start putting these dimensions in, but just trust the process. We got to get things constrained. Some of these dimensions are going to stay. Some of them are going to go. This one up at the top should be really 3.5 in reality there. So we'll get that one set. This 3.5 here from there to there isn't anything we're even needing. So let's just go ahead and highlight that one. And get rid of it, right? Whatever. It's being difficult at the moment, so we'll leave it. This one doesn't need to be here either. None of these want to get deleted right now, because why would they? We'll delete them when they cause a problem. How about that? All right, so we need 6 inches from this point up to here. Let's get one in for that. Again, let's try and set this up so we don't have a giant mess that we create with our dimensions. So 6 inches there. And then this point to the top is 2 3/4. Let's get one in for that dimension. We're still on that. Left click on that corner. Left click on this corner. Come back over here, 2.75. So lock that in. And then 1.75 from here to the top. Let's add that one in. Got there and there. So look at that. So one of them we're running into problems already. So we got to get rid of one of these ones. Which one of these ones can we get rid of? That 2.5. No. This constraint of equal lengths. I don't like that one. Let's get rid of that one. And we'll go 1.75 there. Lock that one in there. And continue working our way around. So we have some dimensions that show us 45 degrees for the chamfer on there. We're just going to skip that for now. And then a bunch that locate where that vent detail is. Looking around here, we have the 45 degrees that we need there. We have the 2.5. We have the 3 inches there to there. 6 from lowest point to highest point, 2 3/4 there, 1 3/4, 3.5 there. So I think we are good with that. So let's go ahead and hit OK. Let's go ahead and extrude that guy. The width of this part is going to be 4 inches. So hit OK on that. We know that we're going to shell this thing out eventually, but let's get a couple of other things done. Let's get these rounds and these chamfers done on here before we get to that. We see that we have a 1/2 inch typical here and here. And then also there and there. So 1, 2, 3, and then 4. Let's do those. So rounds of 1/2 inch in radius. All right, so round tool, radius set to 0.5. We're going to come up here. We're going to get this corner. We're going to get this here, that there, that one right there. Hit OK on that. And then we have a chamfer that runs along here, which we see spec'd out right here, 45 degrees and an extent of 0.2 inches. So a length and an angle chamfer on there that's going to run around the edges here. So let's get that in there. So 0.2 and 45. Let's go ahead, chamfer. Let's set that to angle and distance. Distance is 45, right? Distance is 0.2. Our angle is 45. That probably works a little bit better. And then let's go ahead and find that edge where that is supposed to be. And Creo, being the helpful friend that it can be for us, is going to go, oh, I'm going to assume you want to do all the way around, and we do. So we're going to hit OK. All right, so we're looking pretty well off so far, but let's go ahead and shell this thing out. So let's look and see what this shell is supposed to look like. The sectional view shows us that we have walls here. We also have walls at the top, but we have nothing at the bottom. And I don't see anything on the back side here. I don't see any hidden line showing this. So that means this face is open, this one's open, that one's open, and this one's open here. And our thickness is called at 50 thousandths typical on there. So that is the thickness of that shell feature that we're going to add. All right, so shell. We're going to set the thickness, 50 thousandths, 0.050. And then it's just a matter of clicking on all the things that we want to be part of that while holding down Control. And we see now we have everything open except for that front side. And we're good. 50 thousandths, hit OK. And there we go. Let's go back and reset to that front view again, just so we can see this nice and on. And in the same orientation as well that it is in this drawing here. So now we got to work on this. So we have a nice view here to help us locate. Okay, we also have the detail view to show us what two of those little louvers in that vent look like, so we get a better idea. So we essentially have a parallelogram that's at 45-degree angles. Our lower left corner point is going to stick out the most. We have some dimensions for that as to how big that is. Okay, it's 1.5 corner to corner. So we're going to set that as our distance. And then after we do that, we're going to go back and put a radius on all four corners of 60 thousandths. And then we're going to create a pattern from that single one, but let's locate the first one. Let's see where that first one is at. So the top of this is 1 inch down from the top edge of the part. And then the corner, which we see represented in this image right here, is 1/4 of an inch from the edge right there. All right, so let's go in. And again, we're not worried about being perfect yet at first. We're going to start a sketch on this side. And we're going to draw one of these louvers, and then we're going to make a pattern out of the feature. All right, so under our rectangle tool, we find that we have parallelogram. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to make a parallelogram. And just make sure that I have that corner sticking out the furthest, that lower left corner. And then it's a matter of dimensioning this thing. So we need a dimension here to here of 1.5. So let's go ahead and let's replace this dimension. Go here to here, up to the top, and have that be 1.5. Lock that one in. Our height overall, that should be a 1/4 of an inch. And then the angle at the corner is 45 degrees. All right, so this is 0.25. Okay, we're going to set this angle here. So let's put a dimension in for the angle. So we set that there and there. That's 45. Okay, this dimension we really don't need. Let's leave it in there instead of deleting it. Let's leave it in there and see if it causes us problems. Because now we got to locate it. So we got to locate this top an inch from the top here. So let's put that dimension in there. From here up to here is an inch. And then from this corner to the edge there is 0.25. Okay, and see what happened is that one disappeared. That weak one went away because we overrode it by adding this 1/4 of an inch dimension. All right, so we're located. Last thing we got to do is add those rounds on the corners, which in the plans we're spec'd at 60 thousandths. Okay, we're going to do all 4 corners. I know it looks different on here, but a radius is going to appear differently depending on how the angle is to which it's applied. So let's go ahead and add that 60 thousandths to all 4 corners. And let's try and do that a different way this time. So let's do a round. We're just going to start off the normal way. The fillet, because we're in the sketch mode still. We're going to go here to here. And we're going to set that to 0.060. And then we're going to go ahead and we're just going to add another one everywhere else. Let's try being tricky here a little bit. Let's do an equals. So this, no, we got to put one there first. That won't work. Let's get out of there. Let's put that fillet, where it's a fillet when we're in sketch mode. It is a round when we're working with the model. Let's just go ahead and add all these. I know you're saying, oh my God, the fillet's the wrong dimension right now. I know it is. We're going to fix it. Promise we'll fix it. Now we're going to go ahead. We know the 60 thousandths is right. So we're going to set up an equal constraint. We're going to click on there. And then we're just going to go around and we're going to click on all the other ones that we want to be equal to that first one. So now all 4 of those are set to 60 thousandths because these other 3 are set to be equal to this one, which is nice. So if you got to go through and you got to make a change to one of those or to all of them because they're all the same radius, I just go and change one. Let's change it here. It's going to blow things up a little bit, but that's okay. Let's change it to 100 thousandths. See, everything changes up. So back to 60 thousandths, everything changes back. Okay. See what happened here with this dimension? This got shorter than 1.4, but then 1.5 because we lost those corners on there. If we go ahead and replace this dimension, let's do that. Let's replace it. And let's go back to where the corner is there and find the other one here. See, things got a little bit wacky. So we want that to be 1.5. We want this height to still be from there to there, 0.25, which it is. Let's check on our distance from here too. Let's replace this dimension because we want this to be a 1/4 of an inch. So we're going to left click on the dimension once. Brings us up, choose that replace option, left click on that. And then we're going to click here on that point to the edge. left click, center click to place, and set that to 0.25. Okay, now everything is in the right place. This got messed up. We could have maybe done this in a different order and that wouldn't have happened. All right, but we got it set. Let's go ahead and hit OK on that. So I'm reasonably confident that that is good. Let's go ahead and extrude that thing and flip the direction through. So we're cutting. We want to go through all. So we go all the way through both sides. And hit OK. And now we're going to create a pattern. So we're going to click on that extrude, make sure it's highlighted. Start the pattern. We're going to choose the right option. We're going to choose an axis pattern. No, let's choose, no, we don't want an axis. We want a direction one, right? So direction, we're going to click on the edge. And then we're going to get to the number of instances. We should have 6 of those louvers or vents, slots and events there. 6 of those. The spacing between all of those, according to our detail view, is 400 thousandths. Right? The pattern. So from the top edge of one to the top edge of the next is 400 thousandths. That would be 0.4, in other words. Okay, let's hit OK. Oh my goodness, look at that. We got a set of 6 louvers passing through both sides in our hollowed out part. But we're only part of the way done now, right? So let's make sure we save this part. I'm going to go ahead and put that in where I want it to be because that's not really where I want it to be. In my folder for this class, let's go ahead and do that. So I've got that saved. My part is done. Now I got to do the rest of it. Now I got to create the 2D drawing from that part. But as we saw in exercise 6, not the toughest thing in the world to do. Well, let's look and see what we need to include and think this through before we get too far into it. So let's zoom out again. Let's look and see what we need. So we're going to start off with the primary view with a whole lot of dimensions. But we have those dimensions already from creating the model, so we could pull some of those in from the model. We're going to need a projected view of the top and what is the right side. Then we're going to create a detail view of the 2 upper louvers there so we can see that. We're going to have an isometric view of that. We're going to probably leave that one. I'm going to leave it solid because I like the look of it better rather than a transparent ones with no hidden lines on there. And then we're going to do a section. Okay. All right. How am I doing on time here? Oh my God, 23 minutes already. Oh, okay. All right. So back to Creo again. Okay. We saved our part. We're going to file. We're going to go new. We're going to do a drawing. We're going to call that L6 video. In my case, you call it whatever you would like to. We're going to empty with format is the option that we're going to choose. Okay, and format is going to be A. And then we're going to hit OK. And then as long as we get something with a blank title block on there, we're looking okay. All right, so we've got our document. Making sure I'm still recording. Yes, I am. Don't want to spend another 15 minutes going through the rest of this and realize I forgot. All right, so we got to place a view. So we're going to go to General View. We're going to left click on Default All. We're going to hit OK. And then we're going to left click approximately where we want that primary view to be. And then by default, Creo's going to go, I know he would love an isometric standard view there, but we're going to go, no. We would like that front view. I'm going to hit apply on there real quick so that updates. It has scaled it for us pretty decently. We could probably go a little bit bigger than that. We'll take a look at that in a moment here. So let's see. Scale. It's quarter scale. This looks really small on that sheet size. Let's do this to third scale. So let's not mess that up yet. Let's go down to these other things. View display. And we're going to change to no hidden. And then tangent edges display style to phantom, just because it looks nice and it shows up real well when we go ahead and print this thing out. Because remember, at some point, somebody's going to use this drawing to make the thing. And they got to be able to read the print well. So we're going to hit apply. And our view updates on there. So now we're looking proper. We're looking like a 2D drawing from that primary side. Let's hit OK. Let's go down here and let's change the scale, default scale of this drawing. Double clicking on that scale quarter. Let's change it to third, so 0.333. If we want to get really technical, lots of repeating threes, right? We hit OK. And let's double click back into the properties for this one. Go to scale. And it did update. So it went from that quarter scale to that half scale. So we're looking bigger now. It's going to fill things out a little bit better. I'm going to hit OK. All right, let's get this kind of set up like we have in the example. A little bit higher up here. And we're going to project some views. So we need a right side view. We need a top view. So to project that, we're going to go to projection view. We're going to start by mousing over a primary. We're going to go up above so we can see that top side view. And then we're going to do the same thing. Projection view, start over on a primary, go to the right here, which that's not wanting to do that properly. So let's exit out of this tool. So projection again, click on there. Weird. Try that one more time. Projection. There we go. I don't know. You tell me why that didn't want to work right. Okay. So we're going to be looking basically at this right side view, which is the back view of this guy, right? All right. Is that how it pops up? No, it's really a front side view of it. So this side, we're looking at this side, right? And we're looking at the top. All right, let's change the properties of all of these because now we kind of look weird. And I think we actually added an extra one here. What happened here? Did I change the settings on there? I don't know. So let's go ahead and select all these. We'll hold down Control so we can select multiples and double click on one of them. And it's not letting us adjust all of those. Let's escape out of there. I'll delete that one. Oh, guess I didn't have it on there. Okay. All right, one more time. General view, default. Okay. Click. Set it to front. Hit apply. Go to scale. Should be at third scale, which it is. View states. And display. We're going to change that to no hidden. And then we're going to change this tangent edges display to phantom. We're going to apply that. We're going to hit OK. And then we're going to come up here and go to projection. And we're going to project the top view. And then we're going to come back here and project one more time. Exit out of there. Back to projection. Click on there. Over to here. Place it. Double click on there. Change the view state. The view display on there rather. Change to phantom. And no hidden. apply that, hit OK. Same thing here, view states. We're going to do more of these at one time if we want to. Do the same thing, no hidden and phantom. Hit apply, hit OK. And then we have our three main ones there. And it's just a question of what do we want to do first? A detail view or the section view. So I'm going to choose to do that section view first, because why not? So to do that, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to project. No, delete. And all the way out of here, projection view. I'm going to click on there. I'm going to bring another one to the side there, so I get that side view. Same thing, I'm going to go ahead and set that view display to no hidden. I'm going to do tangent edges to phantom. I'm going to apply that. I'm going to hit OK. And I'm going to pause for just a brief. All right. Just a little minor scene change here. My camera's not. Whatever. Oh no, we lost the camera. That's okay. You'll be fine. As long as we can see the other stuff, that's all that matters. So let's go ahead and knock out the rest of it. All right, so we have our projected view down and over here. So we need to apply that section to this thing here. All right, so let's go into the settings. Let's turn on our plane views. Let's go to sections. Let's create a 2D cross section on here. Want to add a planar. Create a new one. And a planar. I'm going to do done on there. We're going to give it a name. We're going to call it C, capital C. And hit the OK. Let's do this option. Let's try and make a datum for it. No. Let's use a plane. Got to choose a plane that's going to work, though, right? Because we got to split that thing in half. None of our planes seem to be running where we need them to be. Okay, so we have a problem. So the way our model sits, we really need to go back. Let's go back to the model and fix that so that this works right. Stick with me for a minute because we messed something up here. So our planes, when we look at them, we see them here and here. We want that plane to be in the middle. So let's go back and fix that. So let's go back to this guy here. Let's go ahead and get that plane over there. So let's change the way we did this extrusion. Now let's change that to let's put 2 inches on each side of that plane and hit OK. Now our plane runs down the middle of it. So when we save that, let's see if that updates in our 2D drawing. And look at that, it did. Boy, that's nice. All right, so go to this view. Let's start a section view. We're going to do a 2D cross section. We're going to add it. It's going to be planar. We're going to hit done. We're going to call it A, capital A, green check mark. We're going to choose the plane. It's going to be that right there. We're going to hit apply and hit OK. Okay, so the thing is cut in half. We see that we can see through there. We see the section view. Let's change one last thing though to make that a little bit nicer. What were we going to change there to fix that up? Let's see. All right, so visible area, view display. We got phantom. We got no hidden. We're going to hit OK. Oh, yeah, we want to change. We don't have the line shown. So go to sections. Let's go over here. Let's go arrow display. We want that arrow display to show on that view there. Hit apply. Hit OK. Now we show where that thing is split. Now let's turn those planes off. All right, so our section view is done. I'll go ahead and bring those arrows in a little bit so they're not so off. And I'm going to grab this text here and move it over so it's centered a little bit nicer. All right, so we need to do that detail view and get some dimensions in here. Let's throw a dimension in here. Why not? Let's do a dimension here. And remember, it's a little bit weird the way that this works in Creo if you're coming from something else. So we're going to start a point. Okay. I'm going to hold down Control till we find that next one, drag it out, and then center click to lock it in. All right, so let's get this detail view. So let's go back to layout, the detailed view, and we're going to pick where we want the center of that detail view to be. And it's going to be like right there. And now we got to draw by clicking 3 points. 1, 2, 3, and make it one more. Center click. Left click a couple times. And then we have that detail view to bring up here. We show on here where that is. That's a little bigger than we need it to be. Let's redo that. I don't like that. Let's zoom in a little bit better. Detail view right there. We're going to go here, 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 center click. I like that better. That shows a little bit more of what we were trying to do here and what the example shows us. In this case, we're trying to get something that looks like that, so let's do a better job of getting something that looks like that. Okay. That's going to work for our purposes here. All right. Move it up here. Let's get this text. This text is kind of awful. Okay, let's fix this text size. So let's go to File, and we're going to go to Prepare. And in Prepare, we go to our drawing properties, we go to our detail options, and change this text height and just make that 1/8 of an inch tall. And apply that and hit OK. Close this out. Close this out. Our text all got a little bit smaller. If we refresh that by zooming in and out a little bit, we get that better. All right, so we need some more dimensions now. We need one more view though. Let's place a view, the general view, fall tall, hit OK. We're going to click up here and hit OK because I like that isometric. I'm going to leave that like that. Good if I wanted to because I have a little more space. If I want to put it over here and even scale it up a little bit bigger, I could certainly do that. All right, let's get these dimensions in here. So we need dimensions on here. So let's go ahead and get into annotate. Let's click on this view. Let's click on show model annotations. And when we click on it first, we get a whole lot of detail. Let's cancel that. Let's hit show model annotations and then click on the feature. And we're gonna get a little bit less. I like that better. I don't need all those dimensions that were on that first one. So a couple things that I need to show what that angle is. I need to show what those rounds are. So let's keep that one. Let's keep this one here. That one's important. That one's important too. And that one's important. Let's apply that. And we got most of those in there. That's good. Okay. It's good. We got some dimensions in there. Again, at the end of this, you want it to look like the example as much as you can. We're going to do the same thing here. We're going to show the annotations from this thing. And we're going to, instead of clicking on there, we're going to click on the view first, then click on that one. And be ready for 10,000 dimensions on here because we added a lot on here. Most of which for all these we're going to want to keep on here. But we need to go through and get rid of some of these things. Okay, so I'm going to keep that one on there. I'm going to keep this one and that one and that one and this one. I'm probably going to move to another place. That angle I'm going to keep. That one I'm going to keep. This one. That one. We want them to go purple is what we want to see. Oh, no, I lied. We want them to go blue. Oh my God, what am I doing? So left click on those. We want them to go blue. Blue stays. The other one does not. And let's get that one in there. Let's hit apply. Okay, so we have all those dimensions in there. Let's go ahead and clean these up a little bit because we can move these all around, right? I want a little bit closer. Let's go ahead and move this one. Let's change this view. So let's left click on there and do a change, move to view. Let's move it to this one. Let's do the same thing with this one that shows. That's fine. So we got it moved up over there now. I like that better. Let's move some of these ones over. Let's grab this. Let's bring that over here. Now remember, if we do a good job with setting up the dimensions when we're creating the model, when we go ahead and grab this thing and it gets dragged into the thing we're doing, right? So it's getting pulled in. These dimensions are going to get pulled in a way that makes sense and it looks right. If we do a terrible job of setting up those dimensions when we're creating the model and nothing's readable and everything's crossing over each other and all that other stuff, then we're going to have problems. Okay, we still need one more. This one right here, let's add that one manually. Dimension from here. Hold down the control. Left click on the other side where we want it to end. And then center click where we want it to leave off at. Okay. So we got that stuff there. We got to add what the radius on the corner is here. So let's add that dimension. Okay. And we want to add that's a half an inch radius that it's typical for everything else. If I just do the regular radius, it's not going to give me what I want. So let's do something a little bit different and add a note on there. All right, so let's get that note on there, but let's do that in a different way. We want to add a note on there, which is right here. We're going to do a leader note. We're going to click right here, set that location. Try that one more time. Leader note, set the location. That's not where we want. We want the outside curve. Note, outside curve. Center click to add it. Now let's type in that note. So note is R, radius 0.500. And then our TYP for typical, showing that all the other ones on that same view there, showing on there, that's going to be the same thing. Okay. That one's there. What else we need? We need wall thickness over here. Let's see if we can do the same thing there. Let's put a note. Let's try a leader note. $50,000s. I could just get myself on the right place on the keys here. Typical wall. Make sure all of your notes on here. I'm just going to enter to get this down where we want it to be so it makes sense so we can read it. Make sure everything's capitalized. Okay, your notes are going to be capitalized. Whatever we're adding into the title block at the bottom is going to be capitalized too. So I'm probably going to put something in here like my name and that L6. So let's just add a note, an unattached note, drop it in right there. L. And again, everything that's in this title block, all the text that's in this drawing is going to be in caps. It's just always going to be. A couple reasons for that. That's part of the convention. That's how it's done. That's part of those dimensioning standards. It's also a hell of a lot easier to read text that's in all caps than somebody chooses an odd font and they have lowercase letters. It gets to be a little bit more difficult to see. All right, so what do we want to turn in for this one? For this one, we should turn in a PDF of that drawing for certain. And then I would also turn in as well your PRT file for that. So turn in that Creo file as well. And that'll do it for L6. A couple of scene changes, a couple of rooms moved around, but we got there, we got it done. All right, good luck. If you need something, reach out. Office hours Tuesdays. And remember, midterm is coming up, due the 13th. There is no such thing as late work in this class or your syllabus. It's on time or it's a 0. Okay, so get on it. That's your last due date before the end of the class when everything else is due. So the midterm coming up 2 weeks from yesterday. Check on D2L. Make sure you don't miss that out. All right, that's it. See you.